Be in Africa with no car either?
Oh, no car. No, but we were only leaving it. Jamal was going to come back later. The plan was eventually we would either take it back, somebody would take it back to LA, bring it back to Pasadena or whatever. But this is the thing is the way we traveled. Jamal hooked we were at UC Berkeley, right? Berkeley used to have the best deals on everything. So periodically, airplane companies would notify students that they would have different big excursions going to wherever. Yeah. All over the East, all over the extreme, going to Africa or wherever. So, but what you do is you pay for your fares, you pay all the fares up front, and you have reduced fares. Fares were really inexpensive. You pay for round trip, even though you may not be planning to come back for a year, 2 years, or whatever, but you pay round trip. And you don't know when the flight is leaving. The flight may not be leaving for a week or two or maybe 4 or 5 days. So we didn't know what we were going to have. We didn't know all we did. So that's what Jamal did. Yeah. So we didn't know. We took off going, but we didn't know when we would actually be leaving. So as it turned out, we got a notification. And, we didn't have cell phones. So you just had to call the company periodically. So at one point, Jamal called the company and they said, well, we're going to have a flight leaving in 4 days or 5 days. So you just got to be ready. You got to be wherever. Yeah. So we did. So that's how we flew out. And we flew on it was an Indian Airlines. Really? I don't remember the name of it. Yeah. It was an Indian Airlines. And it was an Indian Airlines. And so that's how we did. And so our flight was from New York, JFK, to London. And then you get to London, another wait.
You had to go to London?
Yes, we went to London. Jesus. This wait ended up being almost 6 weeks.
Really? 6 weeks
we were in London. Yes.
How did y'all?
We were there for almost 6 weeks. But I tell you, God has always watched over us. We flew into Gatwick Airport in London, England. And we got on the train going into the city. We met this girl. She came and sat with us because of the kids, and she was playing with the kids. Her name was Hortensia Lindsay. She was so sweet. She was so nice. She was West Indian. She was going to she was in the university there, and she became our friend. Wow! So she helped us find a place to stay, a housing place to stay in a hotel, and that's where we stayed. Wow. But she took
y'all pretty much did y'all have this planned out?
No, you can't plan that. You can't plan that.
Y'all just went.
We just went.
Damn. Now you say you was part of the organization. What's
the RNA.
RNA.
The Republic of New Africa, but they weren't a part of this.
Y'all just went.
We just went.
By your family.
We just went.
No,
yes.
Did y'all know anybody here in Africa?
Nope. Not until I met Hortensia.
That's crazy.
And then I knew her.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, she was a blessing for me all the way through because she was really good with us. She was good with the kids. She would watch the kids and let Jamal and I go out and do things. And she was just a blessing. She took us to her home where she lived with her father. And I never ever met people that had big, ginormous television, but no refrigerator.
They had no refrigerator?
No refrigerator. So she said, well, we just buy daily. And, she cooked. She was a good cook, too. So, yeah, but that was amazing. So I ended up being there in London the first time for 6 weeks. It ended up years later when I was there. Well, almost 2 years later, I ended up being there for months.
You lived in London for a little bit?
Yes, I was there for months next time.
Wow. Yes. Now, so you stayed with her.
No, she didn't. No, she found us a hotel.
Well, yeah, you stayed at a hotel.
Like
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That
must have been. I'm trying to imagine being able to that uncertainty and that bravery just to keep going.
Yes, and it wasn't a hotel,
and it wasn't. And you were pregnant.
And I was pregnant, and it wasn't a hotel, and I was having morning sickness, and it wasn't a hotel that had the bathroom was up on the second floor.
God. Oh, wow. So
it was like a rooming house more than anything.
Wow. So that's even more grueling on a
Yes, it was something. It was amazing. I can tell you. But God was always there. God was always there.
Y'all pretty much just went on faith. Y'all just went on faith.
I went on faith. I don't know what my husband went on, but I went on faith. I went on faith.
Wow. Now, when y'all had the discussion y'all was going to move to Africa, you and your husband, was it like, hey, we want to try something different, get out of the United States, or what was the plan?
We talked about it. We talked about it a lot.
And what was the plan when y'all got there? Like, what was
the plan? Was, okay, so here's the thing. On the campus, I can't remember what month it was, but Julius Nyerere came to our campus. Julius, they called him MZ. MZ, Julius Nyerere came to UC Berkeley's campus and spoke. I didn't get to hear him, but Jamal heard him. And he left flyers, and there were flyers all around everywhere asking students to come to East Africa to spend time. To whatever you want to do. If you want to teach, you want to work, you want to help, come. And they had a company called NDC, National Development Corporation, would help you get placement in homes and everything. So Jamal came and told me all about what MZ Nyerere said, and I thought, wow, that sounds good. That sounds like a good idea. So I liked it. I liked the idea right away. He didn't have to talk me into it. I liked the idea already. It sounded good. It sounded like something. Because honestly, tell you honest truth, I was becoming more and more afraid of raising my children in a society that I didn't think was very safe.
Especially around that time.
Yeah,
right?
it wasn't very safe. And it wasn't very safe because of the Vietnam problem. It wasn't very safe for Black people, for people of color. So I was fine with going out of the country and going someplace else.
It was like something got to be better than this.
Yes, yes. And Africa, oh my gosh, going to a homeland and that.
How was that? When you first got to Africa, what did you think?
The very first thing I did is I got down and I kissed the ground.
Really?
That's the very first thing I did.
Really?
And my kids, Karume, I think it was my oldest son, said, because we've been talking about them, these African people, these Black people. First thing he said in the airport, Mommy, all I see are white people.
Really? Wow.
In the airport, but there were a few white people. I don't know if it was that many, but I guess in his mind, he was like 5, 6 years old. In his mind, he built it up that he wasn't going to see any more white people at all. Then he saw them.
Especially they think they're going to Africa. Then.
Yeah.
So you had to get used to the culture.
Yes.
So everything. How did you?
Well, it was easy for me. I was already wearing galas. I already wore traditional clothes. I loved my wraps. I wasn't wearing 3 to 5 inch heels like I did later, and like I had done before. But I liked wearing my sandals. I liked being comfortable. And at this point, I was pregnant, so I needed to be comfortable.
Now, what country?
Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. We went. The city was Dar es Salaam.
Dar es Salaam.
And the country was Tanzania.
And what made y'all pick that particular country in Africa?
That's where Julius Nyerere was from.
That's where he was from. Okay.
That was his country. He was the president then.
Wow.
And he was the president. MZ Nyerere. Yes. So.
Did y'all find it a little bit more peaceful, a little bit more easy to maneuver?
Oh my gosh, it was wonderful. The people were nice. The people were wonderful. It was like a whole new experience. It was wonderful. The shambas are where you could go and get vegetables and fruit and stuff. So every other morning or so I go. Okay, so when we got there, we stayed in hotels, and Jamal went to the company, the NDC company, to register that he was there. So they started looking for a house for us.
Oh, cool.
So I didn't know how that was going to go, but they started looking. And they said it might take a few weeks, but it would happen. So in the meantime, Jamal, of course, we're educators. So our thing was always to go to the universities. So the University of Dar es Salaam, which was just up the hill. So we went up there to browse around and to look and to visit and stuff. The very first day up there, I was walking down the halls. I had Karume with me. I think Jamal may have had my daughter with him. And I was holding his hand. And I heard a teacher teaching, and I went into a class. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is wonderful. I sat in the back. He was speaking in Swahili, so I didn't understand all of it. But I think he must have recognized that I was an American when I walked in. And then he started speaking in English. And he said something to the effects that we need to welcome our guest. I don't remember exactly what he said. But it was just an amazing thing. And that he recognized that I was there. And so I sat and I waited for him to finish with his class. And then before I left out, we had a nice long talk. I explained to him what we were doing. I told him about my husband. And I don't know where my husband had gone on the campus. I don't know where he was. But I told him that we were there. And he said that he had a house on the campus. And he says, you know what? I'm going to talk to my wife, but would you guys be willing to come and spend a little time with us? I'm like, oh my gosh, that would be so nice.
Yeah.
I said, but I got to talk to my husband first.
It's funny how back then you could just be trustworthy.
Yes.
Like, no,
yes.
you go to your house.
No, he was like, no, can you come and spend some time with us? So I did. I have a question. Are we going to have a break of any?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a break. I'm sorry. I'm all into your story. You're going to stop this now.
Yeah.